All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Aka Kodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Graven Stone. Shalom to the elect pushing this word in truth and in sincerity, with the hope of receiving mercy of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shai is the name of His only begotten Son. You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the Israelites according to the prophecies that are written in the Scriptures. So with that being said, I want to go straight into this lesson dealing with the manipulation of the mind. Alright, now more information will come out on what the plan of the wicked is, yo. It is written in Micah that, let me get to that and then come back to this precept. Before me even quote it, this is Micah 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And the main reason why them can practice these things, as Job 9, verse 24 tell them, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Ye cover the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So right now, the wicked is ruling right now. And right now, you have a lot of crafty device to manipulate and control the mind of the masses, yo. That's why Esdras, in 2nd Esdras 9, told you about the perils see due to the devices. Let me get to that. This is 2nd Esdras 9, verse 20. So I considered the world, and behold, there was peril because of the devices that were come into it. And this is what they're practicing, yo. To control the mind of the masses using these technological advancements, yo. As it is written in Daniel, the 12th chapter, that in the last days knowledge shall be increased, and it has been increased exponentially, yo. In which Esau believed that he's a god. So I'm going to play this so you can understand the times that are ahead, yo. Because as the scripture says, so I considered the world, and behold, there was peril because of the devices that were come into it. So let's see some of these devices, yo.
Information reaching people, and thus people's thoughts and beliefs and actions, that there effectively is no such thing as free will anymore. That humans no longer even have a soul in the eyes of the technocrats. Today I want to build on that and share a document from NATO and some quotes from a panel discussion about something they call cognitive warfare. This panel was just 2 weeks ago, and what we'll learn is that these ideas expressed by our Professor Harari are not just the words of some academic in an ivory tower somewhere. They are in fact warfare techniques that have already been developed and operationalized and deployed by NATO. And so let's take a look at that. I think this is important, and in the next video I will show you some examples of just how cognitive warfare is being deployed to keep most people from even approaching topics like global warming or medical treatments. Just leave it there. Just to avoid those topics altogether, to associate them prima facie with extremism and racism and homophobia, all of this nonsense, this big cauldron of stuff that they don't want people thinking about. And they're putting it out there and making these associations to keep people from even thinking about these topics. That's cognitive warfare. That is controlling how people think. Let's take a look at this document. I'm Christian, and this is the Ice Age Farmer broadcast. And NATO defines cognitive warfare as a new form of warfare, a battle for the brain of civilians. That's important. It's not just warfare against other militaries now, it is on entire civilian populations. So, quote from GreatGameIndia.com, who has a great write-up, I'll link to it below, on their panel that they held 2 weeks ago. NATO is now spinning out an entirely new kind of combat it has branded cognitive warfare, described as the weaponization of brain sciences. The new method involves, again, hacking the individual by exploiting the vulnerabilities of the human brain in order to implement more sophisticated social engineering. Again, social engineering, information warfare, psychological operations, these are the techniques of yesteryear. It's been decades since Edward Bernays rolled out the freedom sticks and changed the way people thought about these things. Now this is an entirely new generation of techniques which incorporate nanotech, biotech, and all of those human hacking. Let's continue. The report from NATO explicitly states, quote, the objective of cognitive warfare is to harm societies, not just the military. So, entire civilian populations are now in NATO's crosshairs. And we read down here, now, again, the report, this one, from NATO itself.
Alright, just speaking on NATO. In the scriptures in Revelation, NATO is the beast written about in Revelation, in which you hear the scripture say, he causeth all men. That's the system that's gonna take over the whole earth in the times to come. So right now, they might put a lot of things in preparation to bring forth this agenda, yo. But Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is gonna throw a monkey wrench in that plan. But NATO represent the beast in Revelation, yo. Just want to point that out.
Is a little bit understated, right? This is their public slides about their new techniques. They don't go into details about anything. But the panel discussion that they had 2 weeks ago is really quite something. It's really interesting just how candid these individuals are about the nature of their jobs. Because to them, it's their daily job, right? They just go to work. They've been doing this for years now. And of course, we're working on cognitive warfare. And of course, it's a weapon on everyone's brain. And we'll hear specifically from Francois Duclouzot, a former French military officer who, back in 2013, kicked off the Innovation Hub for NATO and has been managing some of these cognitive warfare programs. In Duclouzot's own words, cognitive warfare is, quote, right now one of the hottest topics for NATO. Yeah, we're using it. It has become a recurring term in the military terminology in recent years. It's being...
Alright, just giving you an example if you're not really pick up, yo. Right now, if you talk to people about certain topics, is me, like this whole thing where I take over the place, you're supposed to know what I'm talking about, the Beetlejuice. You automatically become a conspiracy theorist. Because you're not thinking like the herd, yo. You're thinking consciously. You're using logic. And when you use logic, as I say, a lot of things where they must show you on these news media platforms don't make no sense, yo. But the more you go against your better judgment until you say it's for the betterment of society, so it may go back to the way it was, which is an illusion, yo. That's why I want to say 2 Thessalonians 2, the Lord say, He's going to send you strong delusion, so you're going to believe a lie. That's why I don't believe these lying lips, yo. The lips of the serpent. So this is 2 Esdras 8, verse 50. For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. Because you can't tell the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans these things, yo, because they might ever have something else I come with, yo. Verse 51. But understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. So right now is the time to be around like-minded individuals, yo. Men that are looking for and hoping for the return of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai and the deliverance of the elect of the nation of Israel, yo. But right now is the time to understand and know your enemy. That's why it is written in, I want to get this from 2 Corinthians 4 verse 3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of our Mashiach, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. And the scripture is so perfect, yo, in blinded their what? Their mind, yo, through a cognitive warfare. And Esau is not just now. Cognitive warfare is taking place. So you see this the man I do right now, and it's something we just start, yo. From the cartoons when the kids watch, the music, you know, everything, yo, from the food we eat, the TV shows, everything is part of mind control, yo. And Esau learn how to manipulate people, yo, and control them through their lusts and their desires, and using various means and various medium to push forth an agenda, yo. Perfect example, yo. When you're dealing with the so-called alphabet group, you already know what I'm talking about, yo. Just watch the TV and see how much things them push continually before your eyes, yo, telling you about being tolerant, yo, when that is against nature. But the God, as the scripture said, the God of this world have blinded their mind, yo. But as 2 Corinthians 2 verse 11 say, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, yo. And these are the tools that Esau used, man. All the tools them use are part of the devices him use against us. That's why our King David prayed unto the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai for hide him from what? The secret counsel of the wicked, because there is an agenda against you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, as it is written in Psalms 140, yo. Let me get to that. This is Psalms 140. Verse 1. To the chief musician a psalm of David, deliver me from the violent man, which imagine mischief in their hearts. Continually are they gathered together for war. Scripture said them worketh evil upon their beds, yo. When the morning is light, they practice it. What the scripture say? Continually are they gathered together for war. Who is that war against, yo? You so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, yo. To draw you far and far away from your power, yo. They sharpen their tongues like a serpent. Others' poison is under their lips. Keep me, O Yahweh, from the hands of the wicked. Preserve me from the violent man who have purpose to overthrow my goings. The proud of it a snare for me, and cords they have spread a net by the wayside. They have set gins for me, Salah. And this is where your enemy set, yo. But the Lord have rise up pastors according to his art to feed you with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Meaning tell you what's really going on, yo. The truth, which is the banner we have to declare, yo. As it is written in Psalm 60 verse 4. But the scripture said the devil search out iniquity, yo. Him accomplish a diligent search, yo. And Esau have done that, yo. The scripture talk about this man as a cunning hunter. But the scripture just make mention of him as being a serpent, yo. They have sharpened their tongue like a serpent. And when I go to Ecclesiasticus, let me get to that. This is Ecclesiasticus 21 verse 2. Flee from sin as from the face of a serpent. For if thou comest too near to it, it will bite thee with the teeth thereof, or as the teeth of a lion slaying the soul of men. And that's what Esau planned to do, yo. Slay majority of you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So I hope this was defined. With that I want to say, Kalalal, Ya Bashim Ya Shai, Bashim Rakal Kodash. Shalom.